Rogers and Charles have 2 each for the Tigers, and for Hawthorn, Crawford has 3 of their 4 goals. Well, let's take a look at some of the events that have happened in AFL football during the week. And the Players Association had a meeting in Carlton on Monday night to talk about their demands for a higher base salary for players. Yes, it's been a pretty lowly, about $7,000. They want about $22,000. And after the meeting, the Players Association President, Justin Madden, had this to say.
Well, I suppose the most important thing is that the players reinforce the direction we're heading with our discussions with the league in terms of our collective bargaining agreement, and that is to maintain our push for a minimum base salary of just on $22,000, a bit more than $22,000 for a base, and $1,500 per senior game.
And that was Justin Madden talking on Talking Footy last Monday night, just after the Players Association meeting in Carlton broke up. In the studio was the players' manager and the boss of Club 10, he manages all the top players, a former player himself, Ricky Nixon, and this is what he had to say on the topic.
Yeah, I think what you've got to respect, Mike, is that averages or figures can speak all sorts of things, and you know, the top players are paid, I believe, probably about what they're worth. But I think that the bottom scale of players are certainly underpaid, particularly when we're getting more and more towards a professional competition.
Gerard, I don't think that we could complain that $7,000 is too little for anybody going around in AFL footy.
No, the AFL put out an edict today and basically said when you throw match payments in, reserve match payments, the comparison's actually $13,000 to $22,000, but even $13,000 is a pretty miserly sum for the torture that some of these young players go through. So I think there'd be very few people dispute the fact that young players need more remuneration, particularly as we broach the professional era.
Yeah. Now, a bloke we've seen here tonight in the first half, he's on a losing side, but Jarman, over 20 possessions in half a game of football. He's been absolutely superb in the last couple of months, Darren Jarman, and, well, he might knock off a few awards this year.
Well, there's every chance. He's had plenty of votes in the last few weeks, as you can see.
Well, he's co-leader in the Channel 7 Sports World competition with Gary Ablett and Craig Bradley. In his last 3 games, he's polled 8 votes out of a possible 9, and in the last 7 games, 15 votes. So he's got to be up there, and tonight, and I know that you've given him a few votes, tonight he might get some more. Yeah,
well, I've given him 3 votes the last 2 games that Hawthorn have played, and look, it's not a criticism, but Jarman is really reflective of Hawthorn's position. He's getting all his possessions in the back half, which means he's working hard, but Broderick doesn't have to follow him into that half, so he's basically one out. And I just wonder whether Hawthorn would be better served by making him play forward to the centre and spew that ball onto Jason Dunstall.
Laces out to Dunstall.
Laces out, and hasn't Jason actually missed his input?
Service has been absolutely cut off. Well, we're having a night game here. The atmosphere's been good, but there's been discussion this week about a night grand final. Is it on, do you reckon?
Well, I don't think so in the short term. It really is a battle between the traditions of the game versus promotion of our game nationwide and perhaps internationally. There's no question that playing the game at night would be a better promotion for our northern states, Queensland and New South Wales, and perhaps even into Southeast Asia, where the time slot would perhaps be better if it was played at night. But there's been so much resistance, particularly here in Melbourne, and also from the players, that it's going to take Ross the boss a little bit more than just floating an idea to Michael Sheehan to get it up, I think.
To slip that one through. Now, a bloke who last year was sitting in a position similar to you was Bernie Quinlan. He's gone off coaching this year. Maybe it's a clue to you that you shouldn't do it, Jared.
Who
because
says
Bernie's been in the hot seat.
Who says I'm going to do it? And but you'd have to say that Bernie Quinlan would have every right to be upset by the fact that Fitzroy have called that players' meeting to discuss the tactics and how the coach was going. I think it was an extraordinary meeting, and well, I guess there's enough room for Bernie to come back here at some stage.
And apparently even Doug Hawkins is thinking of quitting because he wasn't happy about being on the bench last week.
Well, I mean, it is that time of the year. Rumours do start to fly about 4 weeks out, with players going to and fro. In fact, the rumour mill will start to crank up in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Well, one thing we can assure you is the grand final this year will be played in the daytime, and you could be out there tossing the coin for the captains. This is how.
This is the chance of a lifetime. The chance to toss the coin at the AFL Grand Final at the MCG on the last Saturday in September. As well, you and a friend will be special guests of the Australian team at the Centennial Olympics in Atlanta next year. There will be 8 consolation prizes, with return airfares and tickets to the AFL Grand Final. Tickets are $2. Entry coupons are at all Australia Post outlets, Rotary clubs and in the Footy Record. Or dial this number for credit card purchases. Proceeds will be shared by the Australian Rotary Research Fund and the Australian Olympic team.
That would be something, wouldn't it? Tossing the coin on grand final day and winning a trip to the Olympic Games as well. It will be a day grand final for as far as we know. Ian Robertson is coming up next with Gerard Healy.
From the land of dreams to the far reaches of your imagination.
Where are we going? To Never, Never, Never.
Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins and Dustin Hoffman in Spielberg's Hook, 8:30 Saturday.
But last night, you said...
Last night, he said a lot of things.
But what about us?
We'll always have Vienna. No one can take that away. It's better this way. You'll see.
McDonald's Triple Cheeseburger. 3 all-beef patties, 3 delicious slices of cheese.
I love you, darling. I love you forever.
It's about as cheesy as you can get.
Since the beginning of time, nature's ingredients have been used to enhance the health and beauty of hair. Palmolive Naturals captures nature's best with jojoba used by the Navajos to make hair smooth like silk. The Nordics chose chamomile for healthy, vibrant hair. And the Aztecs used aloe vera for extra body and fullness. Palmolive Naturals, it's nature's way of saying beautiful, healthy hair.
Mr. Soft, won't you tell me why the world in which you're living is so strange? Oh, Mr. Soft, how come everything around you is so soft? Rearrange.
Bite through the shell of a Trebor Soft Mint and everything turns chewy and soft. Soft refreshment from new Trebor Soft Mints. The new Holden Jackaroo SE has many practical features. A cavernous interior, 7 adult seats, and an advanced 6-cylinder engine. But it's amazing what else you'll see in it. The new Holden Jackaroo SE 4-wheel drive. It's practical and amazing.
If you erased all our memories of sport, burned all the record books, bulldozed all the stadiums, and buried all the equipment, people would still wake up in the morning and run. Nobody invented running. Nobody had to.
Nice. Hey, Bernie. It's not every day you get a chance to sit down with Australia's best.
Yeah, you're a lucky man, Dave.
Awarded Best Beer in 1995.
Well, you'd certainly get the impression from that scoreline that if Richmond had a kick straight in the second term, Gerard, this game would be all over. But the Hawks, they've kicked 4-1. Tigers 6-13 inaccuracy keeps Hawthorn in the game.
Yeah, and strangely enough, Robbo, when these sides played in round 3 together, it was a similar story with Richmond kicking 4 goals 16 to 5-4 Hawthorn. So they have dominated play today. There's no question about that tonight, I should say. And one of the players who really did get them away was Matthew Knights. His penetrating left foot kick is quite exceptional. And when he's not placed under enough pressure, or he gets a free kick like that, then he really is a dangerous player. Justin Charles has been important.
I agree, yep.
With the loss of Richardson and Edwards dropping a bit of form, he's just come in nicely because John Northey likes to have those couple of tall options. Well, in fact, he's got 3 up there now if you include Eureka, who really hasn't come into the game all that much. But look, the job really is ahead of Hawthorn. They just do look a little bit undermanned for probably the first time in about 3 decades, Robert.
Do you feel, I mean, over that period, the Hawks' spirit, their enthusiasm, their drive has been enormous. It just looks as though Richmond have taken over. I know there's a lot of young players in that Richmond side, but their spirit is just not to be questioned, the Tigers.
I think that's been the big difference in their performance in the last 2 seasons. There's lots of talk about philosophy on football, but whether you go long or you play a possession game, it all depends on whether you tackle hard, and that's the basis of all good football, in my view. There's the scoring events for the first quarter. As you can see, Hawthorn got away to the first goal. Then it was all Richmond. Back came the Hawks with a couple. Crawford's been particularly good in that area. 3 first-half goals out of 4 goals isn't a bad performance. And in the second quarter,
well, I think that you can see there are a lot of the small columns there, Richmond's behinds. A few of those were rushed, of course, but an interesting statistic, Jared, at half-time, 26 times they've been inside 50 metres, as against the Hawks only 14.
Yes, and I guess that reflects what we were talking about, Darren Jarman. He really has gone down there and just picked up lots and lots of kicks. But they've got to get the ball from Darren Jarman and create it into forward movements that create goals. There's the team stats for the Tigers. Charles, as you can see, up on top. His 2 goals give him a few extra points by our reckoning, and that's why he's on top. Nash has also done well. Broderick, I think, down on possessions, but still being a good performer out of the centre for the Tigers. Wayne Campbell had a pretty good second quarter after being a little bit subdued in the first.
And I think you'll find with Hawthorn that, say, apart from Darren Jarman, who has been quite dominant in the first half with 20 possessions, the Hawks have struggled a bit. Tony Wood's possessions have been under difficult circumstances and they've been rushed and under pressure. Johnny Platten the same, Andrew Collins, Daniel Harford. But at half-time, well, Richmond lead 49-25. I think that's still a bit of a contest in this, so stay tuned and we'll see more footy after the break.
9 days of World Championship Athletics begin tomorrow in Gothenburg. For exclusive coverage, stay tuned to 7.
Do you need carpet now but want to pay later? That's not a problem at Simon's Carpets. They offer 6 months interest-free terms. Their professional salespeople will help you choose from one of the largest on-the-floor ranges of carpets and rugs in Tasmania. As the state's #1 carpet dealer with 3 outlets, Simon's Carpets can bulk buy from manufacturers and pass on the savings to you. For this month only, all stock purchases come with free quality underlay. Simon's Carpets, Burnie, Devonport and Kings Meadows.
At Liquor for Less, that's exactly what you get. Jim Beam Black Label, $31.95. Stone's Green Ginger, $5.95. The Queen Adelaide range, $5.95. And AO Premixed cans, 4 for $11. We promise you'll save at Liquor for Less.
The tents are up and the gloves are on. For 1 week only, Vonda Promoters are holding a gigantic tent sale. We'll be knocking down prices and going flat out to win your business. How's this for a deal? 6.9% interest, 2,000 minimum trade, 500 cash back, trade anything of value, 3-year warranty, no deposit, countdown specials and some cars at below cost. You only have 1 week to knock down a great deal at Von Bibbers. Just look for the big tents. Remember, if anyone can do a deal, I can.
Master Foods' new tomato and mustard sauce will really make your taste buds smile. Master Foods sauces are simply tastier.
Southern Cross Television's bumper winter promotion winners for tonight will take home one of these great prizes. A family collection of Crown and Andrews games. Vouchers from Mackenzie Street Wreckers. Vouchers from Fondell. Goods from Nowhere Else Pottery, and delicious prizes from the Pizza Hut. And these are our lucky winning registration numbers for tonight. If it's you, please call Southern Cross Television before noon on Monday to claim your prize. Collect a bumper sticker when you enter the Southern Cross Television bumper winter promotion at participating stores. And stay watching Southern Cross Television to see if you're a winner.
As the state's #1 carpet dealer with 3 outlets, Simon's Carpets can bulk buy from manufacturers and pass on the savings to you. Like quality underlay free with all stock purchases. That's right, absolutely free. Simon's Carpets, Burnie, Devonport and Kings Meadows.
Ready to launch massive airstrikes.
Budding politician.
Diplomatic relationships with Vietnam.
Say that we've got a face to maintain our culture.
Only One News brings you the vital issues with teams that understand the local, national and international issues that really matter. The One News to turn to give you the full picture. The only news to watch.
The Hawks in a tight huddle there before the start of the second half. They're down by 4 goals, and the skipper, Jason Dunstall, having a word to them. He had just 2 touches in the first half. Maybe they're missing you, Dipper. They need you on the wing.
They need more than me, Drew. Look, things don't look any different from the boundary line. Unfortunately, the skill level of the Hawthorn team tonight is down, and as Jerry said, the tackling. I've known Hawthorn teams to tackle very, very hard in the past, but tonight the Tigers are doing it easy. It's really going to be important the next 10 or 15 minutes of the third quarter to see if the Hawks can stick in with the Tigers. Interested to see where Darren Jarman does play, as Jerry suggested, maybe back in the middle and up towards the forward line, because unfortunately he's been down the back line trying to create something.
Dipper, do you feel, what about the spirit of the Hawks? I made a comment. Well, you still think it's there?
Well, the spirit's always there, but unfortunately when you're getting beaten the way they are tonight, and well, 10 minutes in that second quarter, the ball didn't go past the half-forward line, the half-back line, and the spirit there was kicked around. But Crawford's playing quite well, kicking those 3 goals.
Thanks, Dipper. But the job really ahead of the Hawks now, and certainly another loss here tonight would end their finals aspirations. The Tigers in 3rd place on the ladder, leading Hawthorn by 24 points going into the second half as we get underway. Deere up against Lawrence. Steve Lawrence kicks back into the pack. Down goes Harford. Knight's bowled over.